itchy nose today. Itchy nose. Hey, how's it going, everybody? And welcome to another exciting episode of Channel X, the only show on Thursdays that starts the weekend early. I am your host, Tom Dog 247. As always, I'm Tom Dog all day and Tom Dog all night. Woo, baby. All right. So, excuse me. We got a great show today. We have a pretty good show today. Pretty good. I don't know about great, but we have a pretty good show today. Really big shoe. Not many people know. Oh, okay. Not many people know that about damn, what the hell's his name? Really big shoe. Damn it. Now I botched up the joke. Anyways, so glad to have you all here this evening. We're gonna have a lot of fun here today, just like we always do. And I just have everything all over the place. I really do. I really do. I'm like unorganized here today. Yeah, I am like completely unorganized here today. I am a slob, I guess you could say. A slob. Yes, I am. My bootleg desk, my Diet Coke desk is messy. It is. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, alright. Let's get this show started and everything. Before we do that, let's do the shout outs and all that good shit. Big shout out to my good buddy Josh. How are ya? Check him out at Absolute Talk with Josh Albert. You can check him out on iTunes. Or you can download the Podbean app. Or you could check out the website absolutetalk.podbean.com, and you could really you be able to click on the various links to go to check out the where you can find them on the podcast if downloading the Podbean app isn't your thing, or if you don't have an Apple phone, or you're just saving up for the new iPhone that's coming out. I don't know. But yeah, you can check them out on the website, absolutetalk.podbean.com. You'll be able to check them out. He has an amazing podcast. I'm sorry, my allergies are out of whack today, so forgive me. I'm like kind of crappy this week, and I just hope everybody had a great Labor Day. As I said before, like I said, I am like not with it today. If I took any Benadryl, I would have passed out and not do the show today, and y'all will be very, very mad at me. No, we wouldn't. Yes, you would. No, really, we wouldn't. Yeah, you would. That's alright. So yeah, check them out. Absolute Talk, Josh Albert, Podbean. Definitely worth checking out. My good friends over at Gamer Geeks and Gaming Pros and Hobby Life, I believe it is. Hobbying Life. believe. I'm like, as I said, I'm unorganized today. As I said, so Gaming Pros and Fandom Life. I am sorry about that, but yeah. So yeah, check them out. Oh man, I have to blow my nose. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, I apologize, folks. Okay. Take 2. Alright. I know, we're live. You know. Gaming Pros and Fandom Life. Check them out. We have a great time on there. And you will too. On Facebook, tell them Tom Dog sent ya. Also, big shout out to Melly Plays over on YouTube. Check her out. She has a great YouTube channel. There's always fun watching her play some games with some friends. Big shout out to her. And well, this seems to be very foggy today. And of course, big shout out to my good friend Marissa. How you doing? Hope you have a wonderful weekend. And this episode is brought to you by M&J Video Games and Collectibles. You trade in your old video games and consoles from retro video games, accessories, and systems. You can also trade in your DVD box sets and Blu-rays. You can also trade in your sports cards and novelty items, as well as wrestling collectibles and autographed items spanning from sports, wrestling, and actors. If you happen to be in the Connecticut area and you want to check out the wonderful store on how great the store is, you definitely love it just as much as I do. You can check it out. Definitely worth checking out over at mjvideogamesandcollectibles.com as well, not only for directions to that store, but they also have a list of events going on as well too, and you don't want to miss out on that as well. So definitely check out their website. Again, that's mjvideogamesandcollectibles.com. And this episode is also brought to you by the She Bean Brewing Company here in Connecticut, home of the downright up left YB. It's a wonderful beer. I love it too. And you'll love it just the same. And you can check them out on the website shebeanbrewing.com, or you can follow them on the social media apps, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Or you can download the Untapped app today. Do it right now. It's not going to take into your viewing pleasure, unless of course you're watching this show from your mobile device, then there's a problem. So, but it is good. Definitely worth checking out. All right, so yeah, this is a pretty interesting show that we got scheduled today. Lots to talk about, especially even some stuff that I didn't address in the that I did not address in the sorry about that, the description. So yeah. So yeah. Um So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff to talk about today, and so little time to do it in. So we'll try to cram as much as we can into this hour long show. Maybe go a little bit over time. I don't know. I haven't debated yet. Oh yeah, there is one thing I do want to mention, that next week I'm actually going to be at let's see, where is it? I know, I saw it here. Yep, here we go. I am actually going to be at Connecticut Horror Fest, CT Horror Fest, which is next Saturday, September 14th in Naugatuck, Connecticut. If you happen to be in the Connecticut area, definitely worth checking out. It's going to be at the Naugatuck Event Center. I'm going to be going to that, and I'm going to have a great time there. I didn't get a chance to go to as Terrificon last month, and due to financial reasons beyond my control. Tickets are still available at cthorror.com. You get to meet Pinhead, the guy who plays Pinhead. Let's see. Let's see. So yeah, the guy who plays Galen Ross from George Romero's 1978 Dawn of the Dead. She will be there. Jigsaw will be there. The guy who plays Jigsaw. I forgot the guy's name. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the you know what? I'm an idiot. I should be going on the website. There we go. Has the list of names, so we're going to be there. Tobin Bell, who plays Jigsaw from the Saw movies, will be there. Shawnee Smith, who also plays in Saw. Patrick Flanery, who was in Saw 3D. He will be there as well. Oh, Quinn Lord canceled. He's the one that plays in Trick or Treat, but he's not going to be there now. Danielle Harris from Halloween 4. The return of Michael Myers. So yeah, she was in Halloween 4 and 5. Halloween 2007, Halloween 2, that came out in 2009. She was also in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Huh. Well, I'll be damned. David Naughton from American Werewolf in London. He will also be there. Doug Bradley. He's the one that plays Pinhead in the Hellraiser movies. Simon Bamford, who was in the first two Hellraiser movies. Who played Butterball in Hellraiser. Nicholas Vance, who was also in the Hellraiser movies. Who played the role as the Chattering Cenobite. He will also be there in the first two Hellraiser movies. Barbie Wilde, who was also in the Hellraiser movies. Trying to see. Let's see. It was a female Cenobite. Like the female Cenobite in the first two Hellraiser movies. Galen Ross, as I said, she was also in Creepshow. And a good friend of mine, Carmine. He plays some independent films, most notably for playing the Galactic Gigolo. He also did a show here in my hometown, and that's where I actually first met him. Where I first met him, he was doing fun stuff with Carmine, with Carmen, and so he he was not only was he in Galactic Gigolo, but he was also in Psychos in Love, Bikini Bloodbath, Land of College Prophets, I Spill Your Guts, The Sins of Dracula, Model Hunger, and many more. So he shall he will be there. So yeah, so this is going to be a treat for me because I haven't seen seen him in many years. So I'm actually looking forward to it. So yeah, it's going to be at the Naugatuck Event Center from 11 next Saturday, September 14th, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Again, you can check out the website cthorror.com for ticket information. And that took a long time. That took a real long time. I'm sorry about that. I'm just like I said. I'm just like completely out of it, but I want to continue doing the show and everything and all that. So yeah, that did take a long time. I apologize, but yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna be there next Saturday, and of course I'll be taking some pictures and reminiscing with an old friend of mine. Tell some stories with an old friend of mine. So my cable access date from the cable access days. So we'll tell some cable access stories. Maybe I can try to pencil them in for an interview. Maybe, I don't know. Haven't debated yet. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know. Now I'm just getting into my Carson. Well, let me tell you something. You're doing a terrible job. Yes. You should be. Ed Sullivan. There we go. Got a really big shoe. Really big shoe. That's how we used to say it back in the day. I saw some of all those old clips and everything with Elvis, and not the one that was in, of course, in some old Ed Sullivan clips, not the one that was featured in Forrest Gump, but from some good classic bits there. So yeah. Some pretty wild stuff. Yeah, sure. So, yeah. All right, so we got a lot to talk about since I haven't gotten started yet. So yeah, Hurricane Dorian. It's a pretty crazy. So, some people in the Bahamas had passed away. Condolences to the victims there. It was very, very sad to hear about that. It got hit bad, really, really bad. So, but yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit more about that involving Donald Trump. So, I'm sure you read the description on the bottom. So, so yeah, Nintendo Direct happened yesterday, rather, and what else can I say? It was an amazing. I think it was like a continuation from their E3 Nintendo Direct that they had. So yeah, right off the bat, they showed off a new game that's coming out next month that they did not address at E3, and they kept a secret, opposed from the leaks and everything. Was Overwatch. Overwatch is coming to the Switch next month, so that right there is actually really, really good. That is really good right there. I don't know if it's going to be cross-play. I'm not sure. Um, all I do know is that they showed off one hell of a trailer. So, salute you guys right there. And then they released, they announced the release date of Banjo and Kazooie as a playable fighter for Smash Brothers Ultimate. Came out yesterday. It was available for download yesterday. Those who got the season pass already know, already got it automatically. No need to download it. With those who didn't, it's going to be, of course, $5.99. But they've also announced a new fighter that's coming out in November, which is Terry from Fatal Fury. Those who used to play Fatal Fury back in the day, whether it was on arcade or on the Neo Geo, I played it. I played Fatal Fury on the arcade, and it was actually really good, And so that's actually pretty cool. He's an iconic character for Fatal Fury. So can't go wrong with that, Can't go wrong with that. Oh boy. So yeah. And more fighters are going to be announced soon, and there's going to be another fighter pass coming in next year as well. So they're going to be so Sakurai is going to be working diligently to deliver us more fighters than ever before, and needs a break. He needs a break. I feel so bad for him and everything, but you know what? He Sakurai is such an amazing game developer for Smash Brothers, and he's been like very tired. You can tell. So who knows? Maybe there is some hope about my predictions that I brought up last at the E3 wrap up for who I think should be in Smash that hasn't and so far I've been 0-5. I have been 0-5 as far as my predictions. Check out the E3 special of my E3 predictions episode if you want to get more on what I was talking about. So yeah. But who knows? Maybe in this next pass we'll get to see. Maybe there'll be some signs of light. And who knows? Maybe we'll get Waluigi as well too. Maybe, I don't know. Oh. And they introduced some new mode, a returning mode from Smash Ultimate as well. Home Run Derby. It looks amazing, and I'm gonna be I've already played it. I've already played Home Run Derby. I love it. I absolutely love it. Can't go wrong with that. Um. So yeah. um. What else? And Super Nintendo has made its way to the Switch. Nintendo Switch Online just released an update today. Um, Earlier, and they released 20 Super NES games, and you'll be able to play them. Some that has never been released on the that hasn't been released on the SNES Mini. Um, but also but some returning some classics that you do remember, like Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island, um, as well. Also, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, one of my all-time favorites from the SNES. Um, Super Metroid F Zero is also on there. Okay, there we go. Which is also on there. Star Fox and Pilot Wings making its first appearance on the Switch. Why it wasn't on the Mini, I don't know. But there's going to be more games going to be announced soon. No word on what games are going to what new games are going to be arriving on the NES version. So there's two variations that you can download, which is the there's the SNES and the NES. So they didn't combine that into one. So they didn't do that. So it looks really good. So a very nice library of games to check out, and I've been playing a lot of it, and I'm going to be doing that again after the show. um. So yeah. So that's pretty much a lot that came out from there. But there were some other games too, which I completely forgot. But it was just basically the big announcements that they brought up, which was actually very good. So kudos to Nintendo for that. Football season is here. Football season just started. We're gonna dive into that maybe next week or so. We'll bring out bobblehead Rice for that, and a quick little update for my discussion a couple weeks ago in regards to Spider-Man in the MCU issue. So yeah. So Sony Pictures CEO says the door is closed on Spider-Man rejoining the MCU for the moment. There's some quotation marks there. So there's going to be some finalization. So this comes from Variety. This news comes from Variety. And so fans holding out hope that Spider-Man might be returning to the MCU will be disappointed to hear that for the moment the door is closed. According to Sony Pictures Chairman and CEO Tony Vinciquerra. I hope I'm saying his name. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Is it Tony? Speaking at Variety's Entertainment and Technology Summit, Vinciquerra cryptically added that it's a long life, implying that perhaps in the distant future, the web-slinging hero might swing his way back into the Disney-owned company. Vinciquerra insisted that there is no ill will between Sony and Marvel after the two failed to reach on an agreement on financing terms for upcoming Spider-Man movies, effectively removing Tom Holland's Spider-Man from the Marvel fold in terms of both future standalone and team-up features. However, he also did acknowledge the fan backlash to the news, saying that it's been an interesting couple of weeks for the studio. Vinciquerra pointed to Marvel boss Kevin Feige being Kevin Feige being stretched incredibly thin, with new additions coming to the MCU as one of the reasons behind the breakdown in talks. We had a great run with Feige on the Spider-Man movies, the Sony chief said. He also said that we tried to see if there's a way to work it out. The Marvel people are terrific people. We have great respect for them. But on the other hand, we have some pretty terrific people of our own. Kevin didn't do all the work. Now that one of its biggest priorities is back solely on its hands, Vinciquerra said that Sony plans to launch its own universe using the vast array of Spider-Man characters. The studio is in production on a second Venom film, a picture based on the character Morbius, and five or six TV series set in the Spider-Man world. The Sony boss bullishly expressed his belief that the character will do just fine outside of the MCU, pointing to the success of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and the Sony Amazon series The Boys as evidence that Sony is capable of hitting the mark on the superhero front. So, wow. That is some ballsy statements there from Vinciquerra. And so yeah. But let's look at the numbers, shall we? When Spider-Man was in the MCU, Far From Home made a ton of money. They literally made the ton. It's basically Far From Home was basically the highest grossing Spider-Man movie. coming from the MCU, which is, a continuation from Endgame. Just following up where they left off from Endgame. So, and, not taken away from Homecoming, which was also a very good film, but it made, that of course made a lot of money, but Spider-Man Far From Home made tons of, made even more money, and I think it actually hit the $1 billion mark, if I'm not mistaken. So it's in the $1 billion club. so 5 Spider-Man movies outside of the MCU didn't really come close. I mean, they did, don't get me wrong. The Spider-Man movies post MCU did make a ton of money worldwide, not just, domestically, but world, all over the world, the Spider-Man movies made, post MCU, the post MCU Spider-Man movies made a ton of money. Not as much as pre MCU didn't make as much as post MCU. Got the signals all mixed up. I apologize. I've been apologizing a lot on this video, on this episode. So, yeah. So, yeah. But anyways, so yeah, pre-MCU, five movies pre-MCU made a ton of money worldwide, but nothing, but they never reached the $1 billion mark. They never even came close. They made let's see. I'm gonna have to Google this now. I'm gonna say I'm breaking out Google. So, all right. So let's break out the okay. So box office records. Spider-Man, now going all the way back to 2002. Spider-Man 1, the Tobey Maguire films, the first Spider-Man movie became the first film to pass the $100 million mark in a single weekend, even when adjusting in inflation, with its $114 million mark, establishing a new roughly $115 million mark, establishing a new opening weekend record. The gross surpassed the previous record holders, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, at $90 million. So the film stayed at its top position in the second weekend. Dropping only 30. So dropping in the second weekend only 38% and grossing another $71.4 million. The film dropped to the second position in its third weekend behind Star Wars Episode 2, The Attack of the Clones. So worldwide, it made $821.7 million. That was worldwide. Worldwide. So yeah, that's the total. So yeah. Sequels. Okay, Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 worldwide made $783.8 million. And Spider-Man 3 worldwide made $891 million worldwide. So 3 of those movies alone never made the $1 billion mark. Never did. So Spider-Man 3 was the most successful out of the 3. Now let's take a look at the Amazing Spider-Man films, 1 and 2. Okay. Hit the wrong button. Okay. So worldwide was 758 million dollars worldwide. And now let's take a look at the Amazing Spider-Man's numbers. an even 709 million worldwide. So remember those numbers. Remember those numbers. So roughly the magic number is roughly around 860 million. So that's the number to beat. So let's take a look. So now let's take a look at how much the numbers were when Spider-Man joined the MCU. And I'm only focusing on the Spider-Man movies in the MCU. So Spider-Man Homecoming. Oh, why do I go on IMDb? I don't want that. There we go. Wikipedia. Good old trusty Wikipedia. So, worldwide box office, get this, $880 million. $880 million. So, it literally beat the Spider-Man 3 by 10 million. Now, Far From Home. Excuse me. Okay. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this, folks? 1.125 billion. 1.125 billion. $1.125 billion. And this is coming from the MCU. So this is MCU Spider-Man we're talking about here. So yeah. So now I know I'm not counting but you know what? I'm going to add this because this has nothing because into the Spider-Verse um is a non is of course a non um, Marvel Universe movie, MCU movie. And worldwide, it made $375.5 million. Which, so yeah. So yeah, just because Into the Spider Verse didn't, you know, won an Oscar for best animated film, doesn't matter. It The numbers speak for itself that Spider-Man in the MCU made a lot more money, made a lot more money combined. Combined, that's like 2 billion, right? That's like over 2 billion. Now, granted, they could say, well, combine with the first three Spider-Man movies. I mean, well, yeah, it's gonna be over that. I understand, but you have to look at the numbers between the two films alone. No Spider-Man movie from outside the MCU grossed $1 billion mark. They have came close. They have come close. Now, just for laughs, let's let's really find out how much Venom made worldwide. Just for shits and giggles, since they probably want to include Spider-Man into the Venom universe. So, worldwide, Venom made 856 million worldwide. Okay, I'll give it that. So, it did pretty good. It did pretty good in the box office. So, it did good. But you got to understand something. If if of course Venom was actually in the MCU, would it make more? That's a good question. With the if let's say Venom jumped over to the MCU, would Venom make make money in the MCU? Like, you know, make a lot in the MCU? That's a good question. That really is a good question. So we'll see what they have for Spider-Man um, outside of the MCU, because I'm gonna be curious to find out what they're gonna do. And again, the numbers are gonna speak for themselves. The numbers speak for themselves. So the magic number to beat is in the $1 billion mark, which is 1,115,000,000, if I'm not mistaken. Now I got the backtrack because now I forgot. I'm taking up way too much time. Oh yeah, 1.125 billion. So that's the number to beat. 1,125,000,000. So that's the magic number, folks. 1.125. Remember that number. Remember that. And that's the Spider-Verse. And that is the MCU. So that's the magic number right there. That's the magic number. That's the magic number to beat. So we will see what Spider-Man will do. What this next non-MCU Spider-Man will do. And Kevin Feige, we'll see what happens. So because we need Spider-Man, not having Spider-Man in the MCU is like not having I don't know. Not having bacon on your cheeseburger. Yes, I don't really know. I can't think of a perfect analogy for that. I really can't. So yeah. All right. So I did have more topics to talk about, but since I took long into talking about Spider-Man and everything, and talking about the numbers, which speaks for themselves. Which the numbers speak for themselves. Possible. So yeah, Donald Trump. Can't get enough of Donald Trump. So we talked about the hurricane. Talked a little bit about the hurricane at the beginning of the show. So he's actually under a lot of is facing some backlash over his displaying of an inaccurate National Hurricane Center map showing Alabama could be hit by Hurricane Dorian, which we all know is not. But he still thinks that Alabama is still at risk of getting a hurricane. So Donald Trump is not backing down on that claim that Alabama could have been hit by Hurricane Dorian, even after government meteorologists disputed that was the case. So this is what Trump tweeted Thursday morning. In the early days of the hurricane, when it was predicted that Dorian would go through Miami or West Palm Beach, even before it reached the Bahamas, certain models strongly suggested that Alabama and Georgia would be hit as it made its way through Florida and to the Gulf. And he said this on Thursday morning. So this is what he tweeted Thursday afternoon. He tweeted that the National Hurricane Center maps from last Thursday and last Friday showing potential winds from Dorian stretching into Alabama, and shared a tweet from the Alabama National Guard last Friday warning of the storm potentially heading in Alabama's direction. But those maps and the Alabama National Guard's tweet were from days before Trump mentioned Alabama on Sunday. Now, this is coming from ABC News, by the way. Wind probability maps from such an early stage include a broad swatch of land because of the inner error in forecasting a storm so many days in advance. By Sunday, all weather models had come into agreement that there was virtually no chance Alabama would be impacted by the storm. The forecast track had changed, with Dorian expected to turn northward and move up to the East Coast, which is why I'm not really going to be doing anything this weekend. Later Thursday, the White House released a statement from an official who briefed the president on the hurricane over the weekend. Wrote that the president's comments on Sunday about Alabama were based on that morning's Hurricane Dorian briefing, which included the possibility of tropical storm force winds in southeastern Alabama. A possibility, he said, lasted until Monday morning. A National Hurricane Center map from Monday shows a tiny part of southeastern Alabama having a small 5 to 10% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds or winds of 39 miles per hour or greater. Every state up the East Coast had at least the same slight chance, including New York, Maine, and other northeastern states, although Trump never mentioned the slight threat to those. So that means that since the hurricane is coming our direction, it's a good possibility that my town could get hit, but not severely. But Rhode Island has more of a chance because it's actually heading in that direction. So Rhode Island's going to get the most of it. Not much. Trump first drew criticism for this claim Sunday after saying multiple times that Alabama was in the storm's path, tweeting, "In addition to Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama will most likely be hit much, in parentheses, harder than anticipated." Soon after, the National Weather Service tweeted that it was not the case. About the same time, Trump repeated that claim to reporters at the White House, saying Alabama is going to get a piece of it, it looks like. Oh, boy. Oh, it just goes on and on and on. So, a reporter said during a second White House event on Wednesday, said that the map you showed us today looked like it almost had like a Sharpie written on it. Trump cut off the reporter and said, I don't know. Or in this case, I don't know. He also said that the map had been from 3 or 4 days before it had actually been issued 6 days earlier. Wow. White House Deputy Press Secretary Hogan Gidley, I think I'm pronouncing that name correctly, Hogan, I'm sorry, that joke's never going to get old, no matter how no matter how corny it gets. He tweeted yesterday that the line was in fact from a black Sharpie, and he criticized the media for focusing on it. At one point last Friday, one forecast map did show a cone that brushed the Alabama-Florida border, but it did not go nearly as far. So technically, there were the ones that were shown were possibilities of where the hurricane would hit. So basically, Donald Trump is turning into Nostradamus by saying that, oh, we're going to get a hurricane. Alabama, watch out. So yeah, White House advisor says Trump's Alabama hurricane claim was based on a briefing. Because of course it was. So I would like to report of a new segment on Channel X, which I like to call Donald Trump, the weather report with Donald Trump. So Donnie, let's get the weather. So, all right. All right, this is Donald Trump. Oh, before we get started, I gotta do something real quick. I gotta do this. It's gotta get done. Oh, yes. That's right. Gotta love the Sharpie. Gotta love it. Okay, let's take a look at the map and let's see. Where Hurricane Dorian is. Okay, right here. You see right there? We see Hurricane Dorian. And there's Alabama. Right there. Whoops. There it is, right there. There's Alabama, right where my finger's at. Right there. It's gonna change. It's gonna I still think that the hurricane is gonna hit. That Hurricane Dorian is going to hit Alabama. I still think it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So, Alabama, you need to watch out there. You need to watch out. You need to be very careful. Hurricane Dorian is coming. I'll even show you with my Sharpie. I'm not going to worry about the northeastern states because they're all
They're all Democratic states. That's why I won't talk about them. Because I don't care. I'm more interested in Dorian making its way towards Alabama. We need to evacuate Alabama. We need to. Oh. I'm Donald Trump, and that was our weather report. Back to you, Tom Dog. By the way, your impressions of me are horrible. They're just as bad as Alec Baldwin's.
Thank you, Donnie.
By the way, we're gonna not worry about nobody needs to worry about the hurricane, because I'm gonna drop a nuke on it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna launch a nuke into the eye of the hurricane. No more Hurricane Dorian. We'll see you next time on the Donald Trump Weather Report.
All right. So yeah, that was it. That was the Donald Trump Weather Report. So we'll see what he has lined up for next week. With that being said, that's pretty much all the time I have for today. I had a good time. Again, I'm sorry for not really with it today. It's just like my allergies are just ridiculous. You know, this weather over here can't make up its mind whether it wants to be hot or cold. I don't know. I really don't know. So yeah, that's pretty much what we have going on. So yeah, that's pretty much all the time I have for today. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at TomDog247. And if you missed any of tonight's episode, you can check it out as soon as I turn off the camera. As soon as I turn off the camera. Thumbs up the video if you like it. Comment down below on, on comment down below if you're going to see It this weekend. I believe the movie's coming out this weekend. So yeah. Yeah, that's the big. And then ringy dingy that bell so you can stay notified on what I'm going to be doing next. And also, more importantly, more than anything else in the world, if you're new to this channel, do me one good favor, and that is face hug that subscribe button. We will see you again here next week. Till then, this is Tom Dog saying take care, so long, peace.